Well, hello, race fans. It is here. It is time. It is the Superkarts USA SuperNationals, 26th running of this fantastic event in Las Vegas, set to go in just a week's time. In fact, it's Wednesday right now. They'll be on track just next week at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Again, Superkarts USA wrapping up their 2023 season, just 1 week away. My name is Rob Howden. Of course, David Cole and Nate Dean joining me here today. Nate, big one for us here. This is essentially our OutLap, our first of two OutLap podcasts, but we are going to go deep into all the categories over 2 days. David, this is going to be an exciting week, I think.
It is, yeah, and we're changing up a little bit here. We're doing a recording instead of doing it live. Obviously, everything's kind of moved up a week, so we just celebrated Halloween. It just snowed here yesterday, so yeah, it's full Supernats mode. So we're busy getting all the previews completed. We just didn't quite have enough time, so you're watching this on YouTube only and enjoying it recorded, so you can go back anytime you want. And so lots to talk about, and we're going to do 4 classes a day. And Nate, it's two of the younger categories, and then the old guys, which me and Rob know all about.
Of course, and those 2 younger categories with micro and mini really being the 2 classes to watch throughout, obviously SCUSA and the SuperNationals, but throughout USPKS and Stars, the cadet classes have been some of the ones to watch, some of the closest categories we've seen. So this is, when it comes to prediction time, it might be 2 of the harder classes that we have to choose from, but definitely looking forward to these 2 at the SuperNationals in Las Vegas. And of course, the 2 Masters categories in KA and Shifter.
Yeah, obviously some great stuff, great numbers in all these categories. KA Master, we launched it last year. It sells out again. Huge field in the Master Shifter class, and great fields, David, as well in both micro and mini. Let's take the time, David, to do a quick one here and introduce the presenting sponsor of today, and that is Rawlson Performance Group. This is, again, the 64th episode of our EKN OutLap. It is November 1st, and again, today presented by the Rawlson Performance Group. At the Rawlson Performance Group, we strive for ultimate success. We're more than just an arrive and drive team with countless wins on the national and regional level. Our focus is on complete driver development, and that is where the success is fueled. We combine one-on-one coaching, on-track instruction, and intensive data debriefing with unparalleled kart and engine prep. Our program will help you raise your game. We'll take you to the next level. If that's your goal, RPG is your next move. Experience the Rawlson difference. All right, David, let's jump into this thing real quick. Let's roll here. Again, for those of you who don't know, this is, again, the Superkarts USA SuperNationals. The event started back in 1997. It's the 26th running. The date, November the 8th to the 12th. David, we've been at different places before, out at the Rockpile Xplex, Motorplex, Las Vegas Karting Center at one point, Race Kart City. A number of different names for the track out there in Sloan. But we've been to the Rio. We've been, of course, to Sam Boyd Stadium. We've had it at the Las Vegas Convention Center. But once again, this year, back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the second time we've been to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it was in 2021 that we ended up out to the north end of town and near the Air Force Base there, which is iconic after our week there in 2021 with all the different aircrafts and everything flying in and landing and taking off. It was an air show all week long, and it was great to see Chris Ortenberg kind of homage that with the this year's poster having the fighter jets in that. So really cool to see. But we are going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but not the same parking lot. That's the one thing that's changing this year. They're going from the big parking lot we were in, which was on the outside of turn 3 of the NASCAR racetrack, and moving to behind the front stretch in turn 4, where there is another parking lot just south of the drag strip there. So a smaller confine in terms of space compared to the one 2 years ago. And we're still kind of waiting to see what SCUSA is going to do for a track. No track map has been released. We're still waiting for them to give us details about it. So we really can't talk much about the racetrack because we don't know about it yet.
How long? We don't know. How many corners? We don't know. Again, normally this would be the opportunity for us in this show where we would kind of roll the track map out and talk about it a little bit. Obviously, we're hoping to see it 1 week away before we're on track. We're going to be doing the track walk next Tuesday. So I guess we're all just kind of waiting and hoping and looking forward to seeing that track map, David.
Yeah, I expect it to be a tighter racetrack because, again, we're moving into a smaller area of parking lot that's going to be utilized for the racetrack itself. The paddock is split up into essentially two different areas. There's like an area near the front straightaway, and then there's an area where pit out is across the street, actually, from the parking lot that the racetrack will be in. So it'll be a unique setup, something different, completely different than what Superkarts USA has ever done. Typically we're all in the same parking lot. When we're at Sam Boyd Stadium, when we're at the Rio, when we're at the convention center, it was all in one parking lot. So this is split up a little more, but I think there's still going to be enough room for everybody. I think it's going to be big. They're probably going to be increased walking probably for some because of the way the traffic map looks like. But again, a lot more will be learned come Monday when you arrive, and Tuesday when you get trackside.
Nate, let's have a look at the schedule. One of the things, obviously, this is a different venue, different parking lot, a brand new layout. The last couple of layouts have been very similar. It's going to be a brand new layout, which we'll hopefully see soon. But one of the things that's pretty much the same, I think, is going to be the event schedule.
Yeah, not a whole lot of change that I have my phone. Wednesday, kicking things off, you have 4 rounds of practice, about 7 minutes each per session. That will set up your qualifying group. Thursday, you'll have an additional 2 rounds of practice. That'll be 7, and then 12 minutes will be your final happy hour practice session. And you have qualifying 5 minutes per group. Moving on to Friday, you have a warm-up session, 2 rounds of heats, and that'll be to be announced on laps. Saturday, you have the same thing with warm-up and then 1 round of heats, including the LCQ at the end of the afternoon and the night group, the morning and the afternoon groups. And then finally, Super Sunday, you have the all-important warm-up and then the main events, again, laps to be announced.
I can say from experience, David, how important the happy hour session is, that final 12-minute session, especially if you're one of these bigger groups. Obviously, they'll have split groups now. So you don't want to be in the slow group. That's one thing for sure. And that's one thing we'll watch on Thursday afternoon or Thursday at the end of each morning and afternoon. Those are going to be crucial sessions, those happy hours, to get in the right qualifying group.
Well, not only, and Wednesday as well, because that's when they do the big split. So Wednesday, they'll do the big split. And then Thursday will be the secondary split within the group that you're actually in. So for the bigger categories, that's going to be the big one, is Wednesday. Making sure you're fast at the end of Wednesday to be in the faster group, because then the fast group gets split up again. They have A, B, C, D groups that they're going to use for the bigger categories. Yeah. And so you want to be either an A or B, essentially, to be one of the last people on the racetrack. So that Wednesday, as always, at the end of the day is going to be crucial. And then, as you said, Thursday, to be able to, it's almost, and again, like we see in a lot of other programs, you almost don't want to be the quickest at the end of the final practice, because you're I guess they go the first guy, fast guy out. I always forget how they line them up that way. So yeah, it's still setting up for qualifying, but again, we don't know laps. We don't know how long these laps are going to be. Yeah, we don't know the actual lap duration is going to be, or how many laps per heat race. So there's a lot of factors still undecided yet going in when you're kind of trying to strategize for the actual race itself. But you got to figure it's going to be something similar to what we've seen before. So
the event, because of Formula One, we've moved forward, right? So we're earlier in November, so it will be a little bit warmer. It's a week warmer. The one big thing about this weekend, again, is the fact that if you're in the morning and you're at night, there is a big swing in temperature, David. We're going to have some. It looks like the weather's going to be pretty good next week, but there will be that daily swing in temperature from the morning through to the session when it starts to warm up again,
and probably a little bit more daylight as well too, because
that's true.
We're not as closer to that December 20th or 22nd day that is the shortest day of the year. So we're a week up. So we're going to get maybe a couple more minutes of daylight in the morning and a couple more minutes at night for daylight. So that'll be helpful in terms of Superkarts USA and their schedule, depending on where the sunset occurs. So it might occur at the end of the last heat races, That's when true. We get into to Friday and Saturday. So we'll have to kind of monitor that. We'll obviously be tuning into or following kind of that in terms of weather. But yeah, weather app shows 70s all weekend or all week.
I just plugged it in my phone. I haven't even plugged it in the phone yet. So
no precipitation. That's good. So it's the matter of wind. I think that's going to obviously be the biggest factor. And typically what we get when we go to Las Vegas is how bad is the wind going to be? Is it going to be really strong or is it going to be mild?
That's very true, especially out there too, right? It's not like we're covered by a lot of buildings either. So that could be interesting when we were out there for certain. So, okay, as we do in all of our OutLap shows here, again, this is the first of two here for the SuperNationals. We have a look at by the numbers. Last year, 578 entries. The year before, 486. David, 427 entries you have down here based on what we've received from Superkarts USA so far. Will there be, at track entries? Normally, there's a couple of cancellations coming up as well, but 527 is what we roll into this podcast with. That's big numbers for Superkarts USA.
Yeah, and that's minus one class from last year. Again, we don't have the X30 Master category. We'll talk about that a little bit more later when we get into KA Master, but that is one of the factors. So you figure there's 40, entries right there, 44, give or take. The guys who are actually coming and doing both. So we're very similar to what we had last year. And again, that was kind of the worry was, are we going to be able to match that? Because it was the 25th anniversary last year. So a lot of people came for that reason. But overall, when you look at the numbers, it's very similar. And I think the boom, we'll talk about it tomorrow when we get into K100 Junior. That's where the big boom was. So, but looking at the numbers that we have here, for the four categories we're going to talk about, they're very similar to what we saw last year. Not a lot of growth or not a lot of drop. You're looking at two less in micro Swift. You're looking at two more in mini Swift. So there's an even wash. You got 5 more in the master shifter, which is really good because we sold out of that category with 47 drivers, and then that's awesome. Sellout in K100 Master with 45. So that's essentially what you want. Now, Mini Swift was opened up to the bigger numbers, but they didn't receive any. So depending on cancellations late, it could be under that 50 mark, and I don't believe they're running the last chance qualifier for that category. So
the interesting thing, David, too, is let me throw this in here. I'll get your comment on it, both of you guys. Like, if it's going to be a smaller racetrack, a longer racetrack, you could run to 51. What's it going to be like if there's 51 and it's a shorter, tighter racetrack? If there's not as much room, right?
Yeah, so Mini Swift is not a class that's going to run a last chance qualifier. So whatever they have is what they're going to have. So if they do have all 51, and the way the parking lot looks, it looks like it's going to be a tight racetrack. Now, it could be, depending on the lap time, it might be long enough of a lap to be able to hold all those. But I think the tightness of the racetrack is going to be a lot more than what we've seen in the past. So I think, Nate, the lap time is going to be the crucial part of that when we get the bigger fields all out there at one time. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I was just thinking basically the lap time is going to be the deciding factor. The track layout we've had the past couple of years, even though it is a street circuit, it has been pretty quick and fast and flowing compared to other tracks. And if you make that a tighter, more technical circuit, obviously that lap time will go up, and maybe you will be able to handle a little bit bigger numbers on the track than you have in years past without doing that LCQ. But again, ultimately, it just relies on what this track will look like, what the lap times will be, and we'll just be waiting for SCUSA on that announcement.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of waiting here to see what's going to happen in terms of the track itself, track length, how many corners, and of course estimated lap times, because that's going to set the actual laps for the heats and the races as well. So, folks, of course, we're doing this here on YouTube, but we'll also turn this into a podcast as well. So you're always going to listen to it on the EKN Radio Network or on our podcast as well. So right now, a quick little break. When we get back, it's time to dive right into it. We'll head in to micro after this break. For over 20 years, Greg Bell has been building race-winning power for kart racers. One need only look at his team, Leading Edge Motorsports. He's always built engines for his team, and the results have been wins at the biggest races in America, the SCUSA SuperNationals and the Rock Vegas events. The name on this program? Mega Power. This year alone, Bell and Danny Formel teamed up to sweep the Rock Shifter class on the Florida Winter Tour, all on a Mega Power engine. If you want to win shifter kart races, it's time to put Mega Power on your kart. Mega Power specializes in gearbox engines, such as the TMKZ, Rock Shifter, an IME shifter, but with almost 3 decades of engine building experience, Bell develops winning motors for X30 and Mini Swift and everything in between. The combination of Greg Bell's engine building skills and his chassis tuning knowledge is a potent mixture. Greg's helped catapult many drivers to wins over the years, including Mercedes F1 star George Russell, who won the SuperNats 14 in 2011 with Leading Edge Motorsports. Increase your odds of winning at this year's Rock Vegas or Supernational events or throughout 2023 by calling Greg Bell today at 209-747-2613 to put mega power in your corner. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. And we're back here on YouTube and on the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole and Nate Dean as we get ready to head to Las Vegas for the 26th running of the Superkarts USA SuperNationals this year out of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Should be interesting. Always cool to see a brand new racetrack roll out as well. That's one of the things. People kind of got settled into a basic design that we had for a couple of years at the Rio. This one's brand new, so we'll see which drivers come out of the gate quickly on this one. But guys, let's jump into it here with Micro Swift, the first category that we'll kind of go into here today. This one's sponsored by Sodi Racing USA. David, we talked about 44 entries, and one of the things we never see, obviously, in Micro is back-to-back winners. We could, but normally if you win, you're moving up to Mini the next year. So a lot of the times, and in the case with this event, this class starting back a number of years ago, we haven't had a repeat winner.
No, we have not. And, since it began in 2016, we have not had a repeat winner. So the last couple of years we had USA drivers Jackson Gibson and Keelan Harvick scoring the victories in the last two events. But it's been an international. You had Brazil, Great Britain, Australia, and USA. So 4 different countries have won this race or this category since 2016. But again, like you said, a lot of those drivers move up the next year. Jackson Gibson actually moving all the way up to K100 Junior. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in tomorrow's show.
Superkarts USA points. We'll have a look at those. Obviously from the Pro Tour, Maxwell Macha won the championship, so he's obviously going to try to see if he can't cap off a big season. Juan Diego Garcia Arce was second in points, back by 121. Josh Bergman, Colton Schniegenberg, and Liam Nachawati, other drivers that were in the top 5 in the Superkarts USA Pro Tour points. We've mentioned already, David, no former winners in the field. A number of different countries, though, this year running in the micro category.
Yeah, looking at our SuperNat stats, we have 6 different winners from from 6 different winners in this category at the SuperNationals. As I said, we have 10 different countries represented in the field as well too, including 19 of those from outside the United States. And then looking at the field and looking at last year's results and the results before that, we have 33 of the 44 drivers making their SuperNationals debuts. So a very inexperienced SuperNationals field for the Micro Swift this year.
75% of the field.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a big factor going into the race itself. I think, again, because of the youngest category, you're going to a parking lot nobody's ever been to. You're going on a temporary circuit where a lot of these kids have never done before. So a lot of different factors going into this weekend for the youngest category. And so I think those who have been at a SuperNationals before will certainly have a little bit of an advantage, especially on Wednesday when we get the first practice sessions in.
We're just going to say, hoping for a really clean Wednesday, right? Just get out, calm down, get settled in, figure out the line, be smart. Guys, do we want to just dive right into predictions right now? Is that kind of the key, David? Do we talk about some of the drivers on the field? Or we just go right into predictions right now?
I mean, we can go into predictions and then kind of talk about other drivers we didn't mention if that's the flow and feeling you're getting. Obviously, Nate's in a secondary location today due to unforeseen circumstances. So Nate, what's your idea? Should we just get it right into predictions?
Let's just hop into it.
Yeah, we'll fill in the gaps after. Okay, so predictions we have done. We're going to start with Nate Dean.
So
out of the gate.
So what we're doing is we're going in order of who scored the best last year.
In this category?
So in this per category, yeah. So let me pull that up. So last year, Nate Dean scored 5 points to R3. So Nate has honors on this score. He actually got 4th place correct in this and got only one top 5, where we had 3 top 5 drivers in, just didn't get the position correct.
So let's look at this. So 33 families are new to the SuperNats in this category, right? So those of you who are watching this right now may be new. This is something we've done for a number of years. We kind of pick our own top 5s. David's come up with a point total to find out who ends up winning the whole overall weekend based on picking the exact positions, how many in the top 5. There's a bunch of different things David puts points into. This is kind of like an inter-team battle here, but it's also fun. Who won last year, David?
Overall, we'll get in. I won overall, of course. Come on now. I go to more events than all you guys. So it was close. It was 27 points for me, 24 for Nate, and you only had 16. So
wow, I sucked.
I mean, you didn't suck too bad. You had 16 top 5. So you had 16 drivers in the top 5, which is pretty good. I had 21. Nate had 15. So Nate actually struggled on that. So Nate got the bonus points. That's what helped him out, is he got the driver in the correct position,
in the right spot.
Yes. Right. So again, you could be the worst at picking the drivers in the top 5, but if you get them in their correct position, you can end up second behind me. So
wow. All right. Well, listen, Nate kicked their butts, both of us in this category. Let's get started right now with Micro. Here's our predictions. Yep. Nate, let's get Nate's graphic up there. He can run us through it.
So it kind of goes back to talking about what you were saying a couple minutes ago about the experience of the field. We've been talking about this since really the SKUSA Winter Tour earlier on in the year, and a lot of new faces have shown themselves on the podium at USPKS, at SKUSA, and Stars, and really just trying to go for overall who's been up there the most, and then add in a little bit of SuperNats flair to it to see who gets where. Have Maxwell Macha going on top on that Sodi Racing USA machine. Josh Bergman, Parker Ives have both had really strong seasons, especially Parker, then Zane Burgess, and Juan Diego Garcia Arce in 5th is my top 5, whether it is right or wrong. Hopefully right for me, but it's the SuperNats. Anything can happen.
That's so true.
Well, it's interesting because I talk about experience, and I believe only two of your top 5 have SuperNational experience. That would be Parker Ives and Juan Diego Garcia Arce. So you're going mostly, Nate, off of experience on the season.
Correct. That's the only really metric you can go off of for such a inexperienced class. You're right that there's a handful of drivers who have had experience in the SuperNationals in this class, but just with how compact it is and really with the skill level going up and up every year in these cadet categories, I think most of the drivers won't have too much of an issue adapting to what should be a new track for everyone.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. David, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm up next, so we'll go right into mine. I'm going with experience, both SuperNationals and the season. He didn't run the SKUSA Pro Tour this year, but dominated the United States Pro Kart Series all season long, going 4 or 5 in victories. Parker Ives is my prediction for the Micro Swift victory. I have him over Maxwell Macha. Again, Maxwell was the top challenger to Ives all season long. Obviously, the SKUSA Pro Tour champion, so that puts him in that position. Juan Diego Garciares in third. Again, a driver with experience at the SuperNationals, did very well this season. Was just at the Rock Vegas event this past weekend, did very well there. We talked about Macha. Macha actually won the race, so he's got that going into the SuperNationals as well. Liam Nakawati is another driver with SuperNats experience. Did fairly well throughout the season as well. So the Texas driver, I have him in fourth. And then my wild card, again, you always got to throw in a wild card because it's the SuperNationals, and that's Connor Lipka. Lipka won the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals, did very well at the U.S. Trophy Final in Rotax competition. So we'll get to see if maybe he could be my one driver that doesn't have any SuperNational experience finish in the top 5. So
I like that. I'm with you, David. You can throw mine up here now. So this is Rob Howden's picks. You and I are very, very close, David. Very close. Parker Ives was 5th last year. I do believe there's a little bit. I think the experience of the SuperNats kind of plays a bigger role, especially on Super Sunday, right? I know that the racing we've seen in this micro class all year has been so much fun to watch. We get these lead packs of 4 or 5 guys, and it's these guys right here, right? Throw the Colton Schniegenberg in there as well, who's not actually racing this year. Didn't see him on the entry list. So for me, I'm going to go with experience. I'm going to go with the guy that dominated USPKS. Parker Ives is my pick to win as well. I think Maxwell Macha will be right there. Garcia Arce, of course. I just like what Josh Bergman was able to do. He was able to win on the big stage earlier this year with Sodi. So I think Bergman's the guy that's going to be in the top 5, top run. And I go with Liam Nachawati as well. So we're all very similar, I think, in the guys we expect to be at least in the lead group, right? How they shake out on the final lap, we don't know, but Super Sunday. Should be fun.
Yeah, I like all 3 lists. Talking about Colton Schniegenberg, I believe he's racing in Europe at the WSK program. So I believe that's why he's not at the SuperNationals this year. But yeah, I mean, there's a number of different drivers. I like the Burgess again. I like the Bergman. I like throwing those 2 drivers in because they've been kind of there all season long. And as you said, and again, it's SuperNationals. There's going to be other drivers that'll probably pop in that we haven't really been following just kind of surprise and come in and be able to perform well.
And I will say this because we've just given out our first predictions. If we didn't pick you, you don't have to hate on us when we get to the racetrack.
I like it. Bring it.
We're here to provide you with motivation.
Bring it.
Some people don't want to get picked P1.
They thrive. I actually factored some of that in some of my picks too. It's like, man, I want this driver to do good. I'm not going to pick him.
Yeah, it's a little bit of having that mark on your back for sure. All right,
I think you have more of a curse than I do. So
maybe announcer's curse with predictions. Yeah. That's it for Micro Swift, brought to you by Sodi Racing USA. David, do you want to go? Is there anybody else we should bring up? Like, there's a bunch of guys that we didn't pick that I thought could have a shot at potentially being in the fight just because we've seen them throughout the weekend or out the year rather. So guys like Pasha Ali, I think could be up in there. Byron Borman is a driver we kind of saw in the middle of the fight on numerous occasions as well.
Yeah, Cam Becker, the Colorado driver. Cade Casper, the Texas driver with GFC and Trackside Karting Services. He just won at the IKF Grand Nationals. So those are a couple names.
Paxton Romero's got experience.
Romero's another one as well too. Yep. So I believe Paxton was one of the top Challenge in America's drivers. So micro driver that was competitive against the mini drivers all season.
All right, folks, let's go to another break. When we get back after this, and we're going to jump into Mini Swift. the Performance Racing Industry Show. The 3 biggest days in the business of motorsports is returning to Indianapolis this December. Featuring the newest parts and technology, access to countless manufacturers and service providers, and virtually unlimited opportunities to network face-to-face with industry leaders, the PRI Show is where the racing industry gathers under one roof for 3 days in December. If you're in the business of racing, you have to be at the PRI Show. The show takes place from December 7th to 9th at the Indiana Convention Center, and it is a must-attend. Live racing action is coming back for 2023 with the PRI e-Karting Classic presented by Top Kart USA. Races will take place daily from December 7th to 9th in Lucas Oil Stadium. Visit PRI2023.com to learn more and register today. Race you there. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and a Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the 2023 season include the Ignite Majors, which begins with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week as part of both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, which just finished up a record-setting season in 2022. Local club programs have also been established in other states all across the country, from Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast fun and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and out onto the track in 2023. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at www.franklinkart.com, where all our products are just a mouse click away. We're constantly adding to the growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, ceramic products, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, OTK products, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. And we're back at it here with episode 64 of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast, which will wrap up this year's EKN Trackside live coverage. We are, of course, going to be heading to the Superkarts USA SuperNationals. I leave for Las Vegas on Monday. David and Nate coming in on Tuesday. Coverage, of course, will start the minute we roll in there. And again, this broadcast is first OutLap brought to you by the Rawlson Performance Group. We're jumping in now to the Mini Swift category, the class at the track, sponsored by Trinity Karting Group and Kart Republic. Guys, 51 entries. And again, it's interesting that we only have one Dave former winner in the field, but you look back at some of the former winners, Michael McGoy last year, Enzo Vidmontian, Kai Sorensen, who was a top runner in cadet for many years, Brent Cruz, Connor Zillich, Thomas Naveau. The three of those drivers we're seeing with tons of success in big cars these days as well. So this Mini Swift's always been a really, really good field.
Yeah, Cruz and Zilic both with victories in Trans Am competition this year. Thomas Naveau racing up in Canada, a lot of the sports car stuff. I believe the Pinty Rookie of the Year, NASCAR Pinty Rookie of the Year as well too. But you got also look, again, Tag Cadet started back in 2010. That's when we brought the division into the SuperNationals. And the inaugural winner that year was a kid by the name of Pato O'Ward. I believe he's doing very well, along with the following year. A kid by the name of Logan Sargent. I believe he was just racing in Austin, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's got Formula One points now. Yeah,
100%. He does. Yeah.
Williams, Logan Sargent. Yep. Back in the day.
Yeah. So a lot of cool drivers that have been in this category have been able to win. And, what I believe this is the 13th year of essentially having cadet racing or tag cadet racing at the SuperNationals. And so we'll have maybe a 13th different winner, but we've had 12 different winners over the past 12 editions of the SuperNationals. So that's pretty cool to see when you look back at a lot of the winners. You look at the 2023 season and the SCUSA Pro Tour and the points championship, that went to Lucas Palacio. He was able to score a championship by 14 points over Marco Romero. Travis Pettit in the third position, 45 points back, with Ashton Woon fourth and Royce Vega in the fifth spot to round out the championship podium. So a pretty stout championship podium, top 5 very good drivers in the 2023 season.
Yeah, this is a pretty epic program. And I'll just say this. I'm sure you guys would say the same thing. I had so much trouble picking this year, especially this category. There's just so many drivers I think that could come to the forefront. And I always say this, we pick 5 drivers. It could literally in some of these categories be 5 completely different drivers in the front, just depending on how they kind of roll out to start this thing. All right, let's have a look at the Mini Swift predictions. Looks like David was able to take the win last year in the category, so he'll lead things off.
Yeah, it was actually a tie, but I'm giving, since I scored best overall, I'll take the first one. But me and you tied with 2 drivers in the top 5, while Nate only had 1 driver in the top 5. So that's the recap of last year. So we'll show my predictions for this year. And I believe we are all living in Lucas Palacio's world. And at least in 2023, the kid has 3 SCUSA Winter Series wins. He's won at the SCUSA Pro Tour, earned the championship United States Pro Kart Series. I believe he also won the Stars Championship Series as well, too. So why not add a SuperNationals victory to cap off a amazing 2023 season before he, I believe, is looking to go and race in Europe next year. So Lucas Palacio, number 1, the driver who's been there all season long and just hasn't been able to get that victory, Marco Romero. I think he's going to be there all week long. He could probably even be the top qualifier. I think he has the ability to do that. So I have him in the second spot. Last year's winner, Michael McGoy, I think you got to go with the history. Nobody's repeated. Some drivers don't even have the chance to repeat, so I think that's part of it as well, too. But I'm going to go with Michael McGoy in the third spot. Another driver who's been there is Royce Vega. Him and Marco Romero under the Team Bennett tent. They've been very close. I think Vega's got to win on the season, so I put him in the 4th position. And then coming in 5th will be Alessandro Truchot. I think the SCUSA Winter Series champion has done a lot of racing in Europe. It's going to help him at this year's SuperNationals. I think he's going to be very quick right out of the gate with Paralyn USA. And that is my top 5.
That's pretty strong. I don't think that's, I think there's lots there. Let's jump over to mine here now. This is my pick.
Hold on. I lost it. I got to add it.
That's all
Keep
right.
talking. Dude. I might have deleted it. There we go.
Bring it back in.
Bringing it in. Bring it on down to Podiumville, right?
All right. So pretty much the same up top. Lucas Palacio as well. Not surprising. I think he, as David has already illustrated, has been so good this year, especially coming down to the final couple of laps, which I think this often is a kind of a battle at the very end where you have to have yourself positioned in the right place, take advantage of whatever happens. And Lucas has been able to do that. Even if he's fallen back to 2nd or 3rd, he's been able to somehow work his way back to P1. And so I think he's going to be obviously the guy to beat coming out of the gate. Everybody in that camp, I think, understands it. I'm going to throw Travis Pettit in for 2nd because there's a possibility, I think, for these 2 teammates to potentially work together up front. Maybe they pull away, maybe they don't, but I see Pettit on a really strong upward curve in terms of his development and his racecraft. So I'm going to put Travis Pettit P2. Michael McGoy, of course, the winner last year. I think he's been up front all year long. My next two, I think, are obviously a little bit different than David. Max Christie, I think, it's his turn to kind of work his way forward, and I like Ashton Woon to be in the top 5 as well. I don't know if that's really even a wild card, but Woon has a good weekend. I think he's going to find himself up front. So I like the fact that David, you and I aren't quite exactly the same. We've got some different guys. I did look at Alessandro Truchot because even though we haven't seen him much this year through the season, obviously the kid's got a ton of talent, could be in the top 5 as well. But I'm going to go Palacio, Pettit, McGoy, Christia, and Woon for my top 5.
Yeah, and I believe I had Christia in my top 5 last year, so I left him off this year because he let me down. He finished 6th last year, so I can't put him back in. So wow. I'm harsh that way, right? Even though they're kids, right? So the only thing I thought about Woon, the only thing that held me back is he's coming off a broken hand or a broken arm. So
I know.
he is making laps now. So that was the only thing that kind of kept me off putting him in. So
I believe in him.
There you go.
All right, Nadine, what do you got?
Something a bit bold compared to you guys. Lucas Palacio is still there, but I'm going to go with the Miami Grands winner from this year in Mini Swift, Cameron Marcia, who's had a pretty good season. He ran micro last year at the SuperNats, was just outside of the top 5, but for his maiden SuperNationals ran pretty good. For my reckoning, he got on the podium at Rock Vegas last weekend, had a really strong weekend, and also dominated in the Route 66 Sprint Series for 2023. Obviously not the strength of field that you'll see at the SCUSA Pro Tour or the United States Pro Kart Series, but still, to put on that level of dominance week in and week out says a lot about Cameron. I'm going to put him on top, Max Christie in second, Troy Ferguson third, Lucas Palacio, someone, as you guys have been talking about, who has had an incredible 2023 season. It's obviously hard to win the USPKS, hard to win at the Pro Tour, but to do all 3 and include the SuperNationals in the same season might be a bit too much, but he's going to be one of the drivers that can obviously do that. And then Royce Vega will be in 5th for me, rounding out my top 5.
Nate Dean swinging for the fences on us, David.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's picking last today, and because he messed up last year. But the Marcia thing is as you said, he's coming off podium at Rock Vegas, so that's big momentum for him going into SuperNationals. It says, hey, I can be up here with these guys. I might be able to do it. You already had Christia in there, so I think the only wild card aside for him is the Troy Ferguson, and again, that's another driver to include as well. Yeah. He is a mini rookie as well, coming in, finishing 3rd in micro last year, and then 9th the year before that in micro. So 2 top 10 finishes in micro division at the SuperNationals. So could he keep the streak alive and get in the top 10 as again this year in mini? So we'll have to see about that. So that's some interesting picks for so it kind of spreads out the opportunity and numbers that could happen for us.
And here's why I had so much trouble, because I'm going back to the spreadsheet here that we were going through the entry spreadsheet, right? And none of us picked Tristan Murphy. He finished 10th last year, right? Another year older. Tristan's been in the hunt for a bunch. So look at Tristan Murphy. We didn't talk about Marco Romero. Oh, no, we did pick Marco Romero. Somebody did, right? Did anybody pick Marco? I don't think they did. Or David, did you?
I did, yep.
Okay. Marco Samet as well. A couple of good runs at the Rock Vegas event for Julian Sanchez and Braden Wagner. A couple of guys I think could be in there. Rocco Simoni, Fionn Shi. It's just these like Luca Popescu, Jackson Porter. Like there's so many kids that could get in the groove. Again, this is the end of the season, right? We always talk about the progression of drivers through the year. This is that last race of the year. Everything they've learned all year long, this is where they can lay it out. So that's why there's so many other drivers, I think, in this mini class that could be the ones that step to the forefront as well.
And I think about 20% of them are micro graduates. So that's the one thing about this field too. You have a lot of young drivers in the field. You have a lot of first-time SuperNational competitors, as well as 24 drivers of the 51 are making their first SuperNational start. So that's a big factor. And again, 19 drivers from outside the United States racing in this in the field, representing 11 countries. So field, a very young field. But like we've continued to say, a lot of these drivers have at least 3 years under their belt of racing. So they come in with a lot of experience already. But yeah, just, there's a lot of different names that we let off. Looking at international drivers, you have Noah Baglin, a British driver. He'll be on the Kart Republic. And then another, you always got to look at Fusion. Something about the Fusion Motorsports, they produce good drivers. You have I can't read it. I can't see. Dieter Kreeft.
Where's that?
Is that how would you? Starts with the last name K.
Oh yeah,
136.
Yeah. Maybe Didier Kreeft.
Didier Kreeft. Yeah,
from the Netherlands.
Yeah, those are kind of names that step out. Looking at some of the results from Europe and stuff like that. So they could be factors as well too. We look at previous winners. We had obviously Patricio Ward from Mexico. We had 2 Italian drivers winning in 2014 and 2013 as well.
Yeah, Giuseppe Fusco and Leonardo Marsaglia. Yeah, you're right.
So, maybe, we've had a good long string of USA drivers winning this category. So maybe we'll get an international or even a Canadian as well. A lot of Canadians coming down.
All right, we're 2 down, 2 to go. After this break, we'll get back and jump into Master Shifter. 47 drivers packing up that Master Shifter group. It is going to be fun to watch. There's a bunch of new drivers coming in that one of these guys could have potentially picked. After this break, we'll go Master Shifter. It's a multi-time world champion, and it's a Superkarts USA SuperNationals winner. It is Sodikart. And starting in 2023, the Sodi brand has found a new home here in the U.S. Sodi Racing USA is the new exclusive importer of the Sodikart chassis line under the karting distribution banner, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodikart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from Mini to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has already begun establishing its dealer network, working with the Karting Collective on the West Coast and recently signing PK Sport to serve as a dealer and the official race team on the East Coast. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodikart chassis line or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodikart, the world leader in the karting industry.
Are you ready to go from karts to cars? Since 1975, the Skip Barber Racing School has taken great drivers and made them champions. Today, we're proud to welcome the next generation of winners. Make the transition from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. You'll compete at the most iconic tracks in America. Race weekends include your very own equalized Formula 4 race car, a professional crew, expert instruction, video and data analysis, hospitality, and more. This is the place to fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. Sign up today by calling 866-932-1949 or visit us at skipbarber.com.
History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. So back here for episode 64 of our EKN OutLap, our preview podcast for the SuperNationals for Superkarts USA, coming this next weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Master Shifter preview right now, sponsored by Peterson Wealth Management. 47 drivers, as we talked about in the group. It's been Master Shifter, it's been G1, it's been S4, it's been G2. You go long way back. This is always, Master Shifter has always been a big part of the Superkarts USA program, going all the way back to the very like second or third year of the Pro Tour. David, let's have a look at past winners, because the last 5 are guys that could win. Even if any of them still came out, they could still win. Antonio Pizzonia Jr., Joey Wimsett, Matt Hamilton from New Zealand, Rob Logan, and Ryan Kinnear. Those are 5 guys we've been watching for how many last 15, 20 years. They've been up front running at Superkarts USA races.
Well, Pizzonia, not so much. We haven't seen him except for last year, but the other ones, Wimsett, Hamilton, Logan, and Kinnear, yeah, for sure. For the last 15 years, the Kinnear one, it was that was an emotional victory. Logan, emotional victory as well too. Both trying so hard to get a SuperNationals victory, and we're finally able to do that. Hamilton, a dominating performance. I believe he's got 2 victories at the SuperNationals, so that was his latest one. And then Joey Wimsett, we knew the new kid in town for the Masters division, he was going to be able to be there. And so it was good to kind of celebrate that after winning the big one back in 2013, when he was one of the first drivers to record a $10,000 payday.
That's it. Yeah.
So that was a very memorable weekend. So, again, the categories kind of come back again. We looked at the numbers; they were kind of dwindling at one point. Now they're back. It's a sold out category at 47 drivers. You have 12 drivers representing 12 different countries. So it has an international feel to it as well. But the good thing is the core of the racers are in the United States. So one of the questions was, when we put the preview up, where are these numbers at the Pro Tour?
Yeah,
so,
right. Yep.
Hopefully now that we have kind of the platform back stabilized, maybe we'll see these numbers kind of grow back for the Pro Tour in Master Shifter. One
interesting thing about this class too, while the Pro Shifter is all KZ, this in Master Shifter, you can run a KZ and you can still run the IME SSE 175. So there are going to be a bunch of drivers out there with that 175. We'll see whether or not that track plays out to the KZ, or does it play out to maybe the 175. That could be a key. Who runs up front.
Yeah, that could be very well the deciding factor. Again, brand new racetrack. So, that's been the thing the last couple of years. It's been the same layout. So everybody knows kind of like the gearing that you're going to be at. Yeah, the track surface is going to be different. So you kind of have to adjust the chassis setup to it, but what the engine's going to do in performance wise. So with this brand new track layout that we have no idea what it's going to be, but a very smaller parking lot area for the racetrack, who knows what engine is going to come out and be the engine of choice in this category.
Speaking, we didn't have a huge turnout during the Pro Tour this year. Luis Quiones is coming away with the championship. Robert Fiege in second, Michael Gouache, Ken Schilling, and John Crow rounding out the top 5. We did have a pretty good group of drivers at the Summer Nationals there at Newcastle to cap off the season. That was pretty solid to watch. David, you gave us a bunch of different notes here. 5 former SuperNationals winners in the field, 1 Master Shifter SuperNationals winners. But I like the age of the eldest driver in the field, 65 years young. For me, that's awesome. I love seeing that.
Yeah, and that would be Michael Gouache, the California driver. Yeah, he's still, man, that guy pounding. Like you see the Billy Clevelands and the Tom Gerstners we're going to talk about in the next category. They're driving single speed. This guy's racing. This guy's shifting, 20 times, if not more, every lap. Like he is just physically in shape, ready to go, and he's in a field like this, he's going to be possibly in the top 15.
I think so.
And that's the amazing part about it is, despite his age, he's got the speed to be competitive.
I'm realizing that my picks are not going to be going first at all today. So obviously in these 4 categories, I was not stellar. I may not go first at all based on the way things shook down last year. David, I think you're the first guy out of the gate. You couldn't even give me the last one when we tied for the best one. It just didn't feel right. I can imagine.
All right, David, so I'll go first. Let me get this. There we go. I had to go with the world champion. He earned the world championship title this year. Davide Fore with the KZ2 Master title this year, the second year that the FIA karting has been able to host that program, and he was able to score the victory this year and add to his 4 World Karting Championships, along with another gearbox title to his credit. I believe his gearbox title came in 2004, so it's been nearly 19 years since he won that last one. So he was one of the fastest drivers last year. Engine issue plagued him in the main event, so that dropped him out of the race early. But I see everything going his way. If he's able to do it at the World Championship, he can do it here at the SuperNationals. So I put him P1. P2 is the story of Master Shifter, Jordan Musser. He's won 5 SCUSA Pro Tour titles, but never a SuperNationals victory. I still have him not winning a SuperNationals. I have him placing in the second spot. Hopefully a better week for him, because last year he had the tire go down in qualifying, which made him come from the back in every heat race. He drove up to finish P6 in the main event on Sunday. So I have him better than that, but second place for the third time in his career since 2011. Third spot, Brian Keck, one of the top contenders last year. I think the GFC shifter kart is super fast. I think Keck is one of those that'll be fast all week long. He had a incident at the opening lap. That was one of the craziest opening laps of the SuperNationals last year, where we had a number of drivers involved in a wreck, and Keck was one of them. I hope I have him in the third spot, having a cleaner week this year. Fourth is my rookie of this Master Shifter category, Robert Bedozzo, a multi-time WKA champion. It's been since 2015 when he finished 4th in S2 that he's raced at the SuperNationals. Now, mind you, he does do some racing here on the side once in a while, so he's not completely out of shape.
My teammate from Brazil. I mean, from my teammate from Bermuda.
There you go. Yeah.
So
yeah, I have Robert finishing 4th, duplicating that result from 2015 in his Master Shifter debut. And then, as I said, the GFC kart is fast. Jonathan Vitolo, he was one of those that was there last year in contention till contact took him out. I have him in the 5th position.
It's tough. It's so tough. All right, flick it over to mine, because we have a couple that are the same, a couple different. So I'm with you with Davide Fore. He looked so good last year. Obviously, he was running both Master and Pro Shifter last year, and I just think if he stays clean, the KZ champion, Masters champion, is going to be the guy to beat. Antonio Pizzonia Jr., I'm going to move him into the second spot. Obviously, very strong anytime he rolls out. We know how good he is. He kind of went head-to-head against Musser last weekend at the Rock Vegas event and came out ahead there. So I'm going to put Pizzonia into second, Musser third. I think all 3 of those drivers could win. I'm with you on Vitolo. He obviously started off the season with a championship at the Challenge of the Americas, but there wasn't a huge field for him to battle with there. He's got better and better. The GFC guys are super strong. And then I wrapped up with a friend of mine, a friend of ours, only because Skitchy Barnes always seems to be there. He's been in the top 6 the last 3 years. 3rd last year, 5th the year before, and 6th back in 2019, running with the Magic Kart guys. He really is strong when it comes to a street circuit or a temporary circuit. And Scott just knows when he rolls into these races, he's going to be good out of the gate. So if he gets out strongly, I'm going to put him there. Bedozzo is one that I definitely looked at, and I struggled a little bit, not going for Brian Keck. And that same thing with Joe Rook. He was top 4 last year. Just look at even a guy like John Crow. He's been in the top 10 for the last, I don't think he's been out of the top 10 in his races for the last 7 or 8 years, 6 or 7 years. So there were so many guys I had right around 4th and 5th, David. But I went with Vitolo P4 and Barnes P5.
Yeah. I left Pizzonia out. It was kind of a gamble because I was figuring you were going to put him in and Nate was going to put him in. We'll see what Nate's is in a second here. And then the Barnes, I left him out as well too. Again, a lot of different drivers we could kind of mix in, but so it's kind of a Vegas gamble. I mean, that's essentially where I went. But yeah, we both agree on the 4A. So we'll see what Nate's got here in right now.
Boom.
So the strategy of put it into a random assortment generator with names last year didn't quite work out for me. So we're going to try a bit more of an educated guess. And obviously, I think you have to put Antonio Pizzonia Jr. up there in that top 5. I have him winning, obviously, off that SuperNationals victory last year. Davide Fore, one of the strongest drivers in this field, have him running second. I think it will be close between those two. We've talked so much in the past couple of minutes about how talented Davide is, and he will obviously be a threat that weekend. Jordan Musser, I have in third, Scott Presti fourth, and Derek Wang, who we see so much in the Masters category, especially in X30, I have in fifth. Obviously, with them taking away X30 Master, it will be a bit difficult for him, I presume, because I'm not sure how much shifter racing he's been doing in the past few years, but he's one of those talents that you obviously have to put in to a top 5 like this. I'm not 100% confident with this because obviously you guys will have a lot more knowledge, especially in the master categories, than I do, because we haven't had a lot of master shifter racing in the past year for me to pay attention to. So
good point.
Might be right, might be completely wrong. We'll just have to see come Sunday.
Well, Nate, I will help you out. So Derek Wang has 2 shifter starts at the SuperNationals back in 2013 and 2014. He finished 6th back in 2013. So it's a possibility. Now, it's been 9 years since he's probably raced a shifter. So yeah, that might be, again, that's a good wild card. It's a good wild card to have.
Hey, and the other good wild card, Scott Presti. He was P5 last year. He was on the podium last year. Neither you, David, picked Scott Presti, but again, he's been to the podium before and was good there. So yeah, those are good picks. That's a good shakeup, I think, to try to buck the system, pull that end run.
Yeah, I think Crow's a good possibility as well. You put in Barnes. I think Joe Rook is another Rook, as well. You got Presti, AJ Naud, a former winner. That's one of our former winners. He won in 1999 in the S2 category. So a lot of these kids weren't even born yet when he won at the SuperNationals.
You know who I put as a wild card? Could have been a wild card. Would be Justin Kelly as well. On the Marinello.
Justin Kelly is a good wild card. He made his SuperNats debut last year, finished 11th. It was still kind of, I think even on Sunday after the race, he was still kind of in awe of where he was. You know what I mean? So I think maybe this year it'll be more focused and getting into the top 10, I think, more consistently. So that could be a good possibility for him as well too. Let's see. Yeah, we had 12 drivers outside the US. So I think Foray is probably and Pizzonia are the kind of the international drivers to really watch on that front.
So one I'll throw out there is Luis Quiones, obviously winning the championship for factory karts. We'll see how he's able to do. Don McGregor, David, a guy that we've covered for many, many years on the Italian Motors Camp. I spoke with Don at Portland during the IndyCar weekend. He's coming out to race as well this coming weekend. And another driver from up in the Pacific Northwest, Rusty Lingle. We'll just throw Rusty's name out there. I think he'll be a top 10 guy potentially. Does a lot of winning up in the Pacific Northwest. So we'll see what he's able to do. Just another name I figured we'd throw out there.
Yeah, those are 3 good kind of wild card names. Patrick O'Neill, another one. Again, if they get 100%. If they get the CRG working under the round white tent, that could be a top 10 contender as well too. And another great person to see back, Daryl Tunnell. Coming back, Team Visalia, coming back and racing at the SuperNationals again. So again, this is going to be a great category to watch again because there's a lot of familiar names, at least for me and Rob. Not so much for Nate, but Nate.
You're going to school, Nate.
He's going to school every year. He's getting better. He learned the randomize list was not good this year. Yeah,
steering clear of that, at least for this class.
Well, you should.
As we get into the senior classes,
you could still do that for maybe you should do that for all 9 categories just to see what it does, and it'll kind of almost be like the wild card pick for
the robot picks.
Yeah, see if it can do better than us.
Yeah, it would be really embarrassing if it did better than myself or
any of us, no doubt. Okay, folks, one more break. We get back. We'll wrap up this first edition or this first segment, the installment of the OutLap for this year's SuperNationals. We get back. It'll be KA100 Master. Top-level production with a focus on a single form of motorsport, karting. This is MG Tires. MG Tires USA, underneath the Vantage Karting Group banner, is the official distributor of the MG Tires brand for the United States. MG Tires are the official spec tire in the US Pro Kart Series, Route 66 Sprint Series, Sunshine State Karting Challenge, and countless clubs across the country. No matter your compound preference, MG Tires USA has you covered. Whether it's the medium SH Red or the soft SM Yellow that you find at many karting events in the US, or the super soft green SS and the intermediate white IZ optional compounds, MG Tires USA has your winning set of rubber in stock. Indoor and outdoor rental facilities can now trust MG Tires with their solution to long-lasting and the best performance with 3 different compounds available through the RL line. For more info about MG Tires USA and its extensive list of dealers near you, check out their website at mgtiresusa.com. MG Tires, for the drivers. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by 4-time SuperNationals champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Riverside, California facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Karts bring together the highest quality materials to produce a high-performance, long-lasting kart that has been designed and perfected from 3 years of development, with a focus for a big push across North America in 2023. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product like Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Do you remember when American made meant innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American made is back. Contact Factory Karts today to join the American made movement. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorykarts.com. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new Ben 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology, with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With 4-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs and Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. Welcome back to this edition of the OutLap, episode 64. This one, of course, the first of 2, focused on previewing next week's Superkarts USA SuperNationals, the 26th running of the event in Las Vegas. We're going to jump now into the KA100 Master category, brought to you by International Motorsports, a sponsor this year. I had a chance to race in this class last year and had a fantastic weekend. Electing not to run this year, but just focus on commentary and, of course, the coverage we'll have on ekartingnews.com. But I'm thrilled to see, David, another full field. This is what I'm talking about in this category, K100 Master. I love it. I think it's a great class for guys, 30 and up, and of course for myself, 50 and up as well. But 45 entries, Martin Stone, the inaugural winner, and he'll roll in here definitely as a driver to beat for sure.
Yeah, he comes in as a defending race winner, inaugural winner, has the ability to repeat, obviously coming in, scoring victory last week at the Rock Vegas event. So got the momentum going in his favor again. But this year's field is going to be completely different and a lot more competitive, in my opinion, because we don't have the X30 Master category at the SuperNationals this year. So we have a handful of those drivers coming over and running this category rather than just running the X30 Master division. So we did have some crossovers like Renato Yader David, who did both, Lorenzo Mardan, who did both, a few other top drivers. But the names that are coming over and doing this category this year are just, I mean, it helps add to the former list of, or the list of former winners at the SuperNationals, because this year we have 4 former winners, including obviously Martin Stone, but 3 that have won in the X30 Master division before.
And one of the interesting things, too, about the SKUSA Pro Tour this year, David, was the fact that we had drivers kind of pick and choose a couple of races. Tom Gerstner ran the full series, but Michael Garrido ran the Winter Nationals. Clay Settles did the Summer Nationals. So really only one of the drivers from the top 5 in points are in the field from this year's SKUSA Pro Tour. That's the champion, Tom Gerstner, Michel Garrido, Clay Settles, Pistol Pete Vedder, and Mario Barrios. None of those 4 drivers on the at least entry list that we have right now.
Yeah, we confirmed that Barrios is not racing at the SuperNationals this year. So he just raced at the Miami Warrior final in Portugal, finished in the 6th spot in the Master division. So congrats to him on that. Just missing on the podium there. But yeah, those other 3 drivers are not there. But so Tom Gerstner, the eldest driver of the SuperNationals at 67, will be representing the Pro Tour number 1. He'll run the 401 on the week.
So we busted on Nate a little bit for his randomizer of picks, but he ended up winning this class last year. If he's going P1,
he is going P1. He was all 3 of us had 3 drivers in the top 5. So right. Good for us. Unfortunate part is Nate correctly picked the 3rd place driver, which I believe was Lorenzo Mardan, if I recall correctly. Looking at Mardan. So he got Mardan in the 3rd spot. So Nate has the honor on this category for the predictions.
Well, roll it out, Dave. Let's get the graphic up.
So I think you could call this a bit of a safe pick for the top set. Ben Cooper has been competitive in senior competition, especially any master competition. He knows how to get it done. The SuperNationals, won it in 2018, X30 senior, I believe. I'm right in saying that category. But other drivers down, Renato Jader David is one of the talents in master racing, not only here in America, but really worldwide. Miguel Mir maybe didn't have the SuperNationals he would have wanted last season, but I think he'll be able to come back and get a good result here. Martin Stone have P4, a little bit of a demotion from last year's running. And then Kip Foster, I have in the same spot that he finished last year in 5th.
Last year in the X30 Master Division.
Yes, an X30 Master Division.
There you go. So yeah, you're looking at your list. You have all 4 former winners at the SuperNationals with Cooper, Renato Yader David, Martin Stone, and Kip Foster. Kip Foster, the 4-time SuperNationals winner. He's won 2014, 2015, 2018, and 2019 in the X30 Master Division. So this is actually his first time in the KA Master 100 Master Division at the SuperNationals. So that's I think that's going to be a familiar pick, especially at the front, because if we transfer over to my selections here, it is Ben Cooper on top. I have him winning his 3rd SuperNationals. You mentioned the 2018. It was 2013 that he got his first SuperNationals victory. Rob, do you remember what category?
For who? For Ben Cooper?
For Ben Cooper, 2013.
I'm going to say probably DD2.
There you go. Correct. It was DD2 category. Yeah. The one time that division ran at the SuperNationals, because the SuperNationals actually followed the Rotax Grand Finals, which was held in NOLA Motorsports Park for the first time ever on U.S. soil. Cooper ran there and then came over and raced at the SuperNationals to win a ticket to 2014. I believe that might have been in one of the years he won the grand finals as well. So I have the former Brit driver, now Canadian, winning with the Australian in the second position. That will be Kip Foster. I think Kip understands the KA division because it is called Karting Australia Engine for a reason. It was developed for that country. So they have a little bit of an upper hand, I think, when it comes to the KA division. But Foster's an amazing driver. I think he's going to be right there all week long to be able to finish in the runner-up position. Renato Yader David, again, amazing talent. Anytime he's at the racetrack, he's racing for podium. I have him on the third position. So again, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 podium finishes in a row at the SuperNationals, including 2 last year with 2 runner-up finishes. So this year I have him in third. I have defending race winner Martin Stone in the 4th spot. Again, you come in as the defending champion. It's very tough to get that back-to-back victory. He's going to come up just short, finishing in the 4th spot. And then I went essentially all international. Even though Martin Stone calls the USA home, he is a British native. I went all international. I threw in Matthew Waters, an Australian who races the KA category down in Australia. He's racing under the Rawlson Performance Group tent. Rob Howden knows exactly how fast those karts are. He learned firsthand. He drove it to a top 20 finish when it was probably a top 5 kart.
Wow.
And I've never met him. But I put Matthew Walters in the top 5.
All right, David, rolling it. I like that. We're going to see a lot of the same names, obviously, because there's guys we know that are going to be the front. We've talked about these guys being former champions, former winners here at the SuperNats. It's 3 for 3. We're all going Ben Cooper for the win. I got Kip Foster for second, as David did. Just look at that battle up front. You got Martin Stone in there as well. We know how good he is on the temp circuits. Coming off the Rock Vegas win as well, he's going to be strong. I think Stone's going to be a guy to beat. Cooper, Foster, Stone. Laurent Mardan was unbelievably good last year as well. We talked about the fact that he finished third. Nate picked that one, and I think he'll be in the fight as well. Then Renato Jader David. So I didn't go anywhere crazy in terms of, hey, this guy's coming out of nowhere, because I think you got to stack the deck with some of these guys. This KA Master field is so deep. We'll mention some other guys when we're done here. But at the front, we just got some of the best drivers we've seen at the SuperNats, right? Cooper, Foster, Stone, Mardan, Jader David. This is going to be a barn burner up front for sure.
I mean, essentially, you're international as well, too, if you count Mardan, born outside the United States, now living here in the U.S., Romania. So you went international as well. I'm going to go back to Nate just to kind of confirm all international as well, too. Because Miguel Mir.
We're going to get lynched when we're there.
I mean, well.
Really, let's be real. I mean,
again, Miguel Mir, Martin Stone, they live in Texas, so they're essentially Americans. What was the different one that you had? Or just Cooper's Canadian. So, in a way, it's still North America, but yeah, I mean, that's interesting. All 3 of us are all international drivers.
For me too, there's a lot of great stuff. Let's have a look deeper into in this grid here, David, in this entry list, because there's some really cool guys kind of talk about a little bit that we've watched. You got some of the younger Americans, not say younger, but guys that we've watched for many years that have raced here again, like a Nicky Coelho. I think he's going to be a guy that'll be in the top 10. Carlos Calderon, if he gets rolling quickly, Carlos could be in there, right? There's a guy that was normally front half of the X30 category, but he's been running up front in X30 as well. So Carlos Calderon, I think, is a guy that could be one to watch.
Yeah, you got Carlos Calderon, Nicky Coelho. There's a good group of under the Franklin 10, including Coelho, Scott Kopp, a 2-time USPKS champion. TJ Neville's making his SuperNationals debut. So Westige as well. So Franklin Motorsports coming in with a good group. Bobby Kelly was one driver to watch last year. I'm not sure if it was something that happened in the main event or the heat races, but he was fast all week long and just had bad luck. He wasn't able to get up front. So he actually finished 16th. So I think he had to drive himself from the back or got wrecked in what was a chaotic opening lap there for you guys last year on Super Sunday. So
trust me.
I think that's one to watch. Morgan LeBaron for High Five Performance out of Texas. He's been able to run quick down there racing with Miguel Mir as well too. He could be a factor for a top 10 result as well.
Gary Glanger, a driver on a red speed out of Dallas, ran a number of the early SuperNationals as a track magic driver. Was on a Burrell for a while too, I believe. But actually, I think he ran for Champion Racing on an Intercart as well for a bit there for Gary Glanger. So good to see Gary back. I know he's got a lot of experience running Spec Racer forward in the SCCA. A couple of cool stories. Brandon Ward, an Army veteran, going to be coming out here. The son of motocross legend Jeff Ward is going to be coming to race with Leading Edge Motorsports. How about Casey Cook? Inspirational story for sure, racing with cystic fibrosis and just wants to be back out in the go-kart. What a great story. I'm working on a story on him that will run before the end of the year. Great to see KC out there as well. Here's a guy I think that could be top 5, and I actually really looked at potentially putting him in there, David and Nate. That's Tim Meyer. Tim Meyer's got this. He gets collected every once in a while. He gets collected, but he's got so much raw speed. I think Tim could be a top 5 guy.
Yeah, I think it was him and Mardan that got collected in a wreck at Rock Vegas last week.
I saw that
during one of the heat races. So I think he finished top 10 in the Rock Expert Plus category at the Rock Cup Super Final event a couple weeks ago. Another driver coming back to the SuperNationals to watch for, Nick de Graaf, the Dutch driver racing for Mike Manning Karting. So you got Kelly and de Graaf working together. That could be a lethal duo in the K100 Master Field.
Very true. So there you have it. Predictions for 4 of the categories in the books. Guys, we're done with this first edition of the OutLap. Of course, back with another show. If you watch this one here, make sure you watch the next one as well. But guys, that's it. What do you feel good? You feel like we're out of the gate strongly here?
Go ahead, Nate.
I have a lot more confidence in my micro and mini predictions. I'll put it that way. Masters, not too much, but yeah, could go either way. I mean, I'm not confident in my KA Masters predictions, but I did well last year. So who knows?
They look pretty good. We're all kind of in the wheelhouse, I think, right? You never
know. They're all pretty similar, a couple different ones. So it'll help mix up the points. These 4 categories, again, I don't think anything's clear cut and dry. Yeah, maybe Ben Cooper might be probably the best favorite out of these 4 categories. Maybe Lucas Palacio after that. In terms of if you were to do odds per category, I think those would probably be the 2 highest. Because
look who Cooper's going up against.
I know that's
Foster's won 4 times. Yoder David's won every major Masters race you can win. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it just seems like every time Cooper jumps in the master category, he's like the quickest driver. Now, last year, SuperNationals, he wasn't, which was shocking. Again, I think everybody expected him to be able to dominate that race last year, and he didn't. So
there were some tire issues last year too. Remember, some guys were complaining about the tires. And
there were. Maybe he was watching you too much and learning what not to do. So
it's possible. It's possible. He wasn't watching any of my video. I guarantee you that.
Oh, thank God. You don't kill him that way.
All right, folks.
But yeah, it's across the board on these 4 categories. It's going to be fun to see how they develop as the week goes on.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is going to be fun. Again, this is just the start of our coverage. We'll be live, as we said. I'll be there Tuesday morning at the track. We'll get rolling from there. David and Nate rolling Tuesday evening, so we'll be back on it for Wednesday through to Super Sunday. Full coverage, all the stuff we normally do. We're going to add a couple of little extra things in as well. Looking forward to what should be a fantastic 26th running of the SuperNationals. Again, this is just the first of 2 installments of the OutLap. There'll be another one coming. Dave, when's this one going up right now? Anyways, it's going up tomorrow.
So this will be up on YouTube on the 2nd, and then we'll get the second one up a couple days later, either on Saturday night or Sunday morning. So we're kind of, this is new, so we're kind of just playing with it and making sure everything works right before we confirm what days they're going to be published. Right. So you'll see the links on all our social medias, obviously. Exactly
that. So follow the social media as we always do. We'll be leveraging that big time for the race. Of course, we will be streaming the live audio as well. If you can't connect with the Kart Chaser live broadcast, which I'll be anchoring alongside Henry Beaudet and Mike Smith, of course, Xander Clemens as well. We'll be streaming the live at ekartingnews.com/live or ekartingnews.com/radio. Follow all of our social media. The hashtag's easy way to search for things. EKN at SCUSA, hashtag SCUSA SuperNationals, hashtag SuperNats26, hashtag Vegas, hashtag karting. We'll be putting all those up on our social media. Again, myself, David, and Nate will be back again for another show. We're going to record that tomorrow on Thursday. Again, this is just getting things underway for this year's SuperNationals, folks. Hope you enjoyed this edition. The predictions are started. Start milling them around. I'm sure there's going to be lots of discussions. We're going to be right. We're going to be wrong. Let's see if I can maybe do a better job this year.
As long as I win, that's all that matters.
Here we go. I think Nate's going to be stronger this year, David. He didn't use the randomizer.
If he can get more top fives, like that'll easily put him ahead of me.
All right. Well, we'll see how it all plays out, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're underway with this year's SuperNationals coverage. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.